Hi, I'm John Davis, and this is MotorWeek. We're off to infinity and beyond in the QX60, and we'll self-check out a grocer reaching an energy-saving milestone. We'll rewind a comparo of import performers and a fastback flashback, and scan our boarding pass for the updated Honda Pilot. To come drive with us next.
MotorWeek, 45 years steering you in the right direction.
MotorWeek is proudly sponsored by Auto Value and Bumper to Bumper, a nationwide network of stores and shops providing major brand auto and truck parts and service from coast to coast and in your local community. Service is the difference. We get it. Learn more at autovalue.com and bumpertobumper.com.
We're Tire Rack. We test tires and share our results. We stock over 1 million tires. We offer multiple installation options. We do this because we believe tires matter. TireRack.com.
Before it became known as the Infiniti QX60, this Nissan Pathfinder-based utility arrived for the 2013 model year as the JX35, Infiniti's first three-row crossover. Well, much more than just a name has changed since then, as the 26 QX60 arrives with updated style and tech. So let's find out if the amount of luxury in this Infiniti is truly endless. Nissan's Infiniti luxury brand didn't even exist when MotorWeek went on the air 45 years ago. That didn't happen until 1990, with the arrival of the Q45 and M30 sedans. Not too long after, Infiniti joined the SUV bandwagon with 1997's Pathfinder-based QX4, the spiritual predecessor to this 2026 Infiniti QX60. Infiniti reached their height of success in 2017, selling more than 150,000 vehicles in the U.S., but have been on a mostly downward trend ever since, with their lineup currently made up strictly of utility vehicles, two of which recently ceased production, leaving just the full-size QX80 and this mid-size QX60, the latter donning some timely updates for 2026. They certainly went beyond just a styling refresh on this three-rower, as they patterned visual changes after the big QX80. That includes the floating bamboo forest grille, piano key-inspired daytime running lights, and illuminated 3D Infiniti logo. The body cladding has also been reshaped to portray a more planted presence. A theme exaggerated even further in back, where the lower and wider rear fascia has more of a traditional bumper look to it. It's a quite beautiful vehicle from any angle. 20-inch wheels are now standard, with top autograph getting a unique double wing design with machined surfaces. Autographs also include a black roof with panoramic glass and low-profile roof rails. Even more interesting is the QX60's first ever sport grade, with its own 20-inch wheels, plus a mesh pattern grille in the unique front fascia and black trim all around. Since our 2022 test, the QX60 has gone in for an engine swap. Out is the old 3.5-liter V6, and in is Nissan's novel 2-liter variable compression i4 turbo. It rates 268 horsepower and 286 pound-feet of torque. That's less HP but more torque, with a goal of more power with more efficiency. A 9-speed automatic remains the transmission, while the 6,000-pound tow capacity is also unchanged. Pure and Lux trims are standard front-wheel drive, with all-wheel drive available. AWD is standard with Sport and Autograph. On the street, the QX60 does feel a bit cumbersome for a crossover, most likely on purpose to have it behave more like a truck-based SUV. Whereas Acura has embraced the tech-heavy approach, and Lexus deals in soft luxury, Infiniti's recent method seems to be going for more of a refined ruggedness a la Range Rover, and it works wonderfully here. Things remain mostly familiar inside. Both the infotainment touchscreen and digital driver display are 12.3 inches in size, with the gauges in a traditional in-dash hooded setup. Front seats are firm, but comfort was plentiful for road tripping. Second-row captain's chairs are standard in autograph, with a removable center console in between. Third-row access is quite good, but the space is still tight for adults. This is a lot of vehicle for a 2-liter turbo 4 to move. And at our Mason-Dixon test track, there was an easy roll off the line. But once moving, the variable compression tech manifested itself more aggressively, getting us to 60 in a respectable 7.4 seconds. Power delivery remained steady throughout the quarter mile, ending in 15.8 seconds at 91 miles per hour. There was quite a bit of engine noise, but shifts were smooth. In our cone course, lots of body roll and understeer required us to keep our inputs smooth to avoid triggering stability systems. Slow and steady wins the race here. Things were much more impressive in our braking test, with stops averaging just 96 feet from 60. Performance was straight and smooth with no fade. The VC Turbo boost all government fuel economy ratings by 2 mpg, now at 22 city, 27 highway, and 24 combined. Our test loop stepped up about 1 mpg to 22.5 miles per gallon of premium. Pricing starts with pure trim at $53,085, working up through Luxe and Sport to our Autograph at $68,185. The current Infiniti lineup may be very limited, but the brand is about to put their product renaissance into high gear with a new QX65 arriving later this year. Its design takes clear inspiration from the early 2000s FX, and that's something we applaud. In the meantime, those looking for a gorgeous and luxurious 3-row utility that won't break the bank would be wise to check out the 2026 Infiniti QX60. We Americans are certainly feeling an economic pinch at the gas station, the car showroom, and at retail stores. But it's not just individuals. Mainstream businesses are watching the bottom line harder than ever. We recently visited one company that cleaned up its trucking fleet and its ledger sheet by making a smart fuel switch. Wegmans is a regional grocery chain with 114 stores covering 9 East Coast states and Washington, D.C. With that much territory to cover, keeping all of those shelves stocked is a monumental task. Wegmans' 3 distribution centers process and ship out 2,600 trailer loads a week of meat, produce, fresh baked goods, and everything else from soup to nuts. Grocery profit margins are notoriously slim, so one way Wegmans has improved efficiency is with their trucking. Beginning in 2015, they started fueling their over-the-road haulers with compressed natural gas, and within the next year expect to be diesel-free across their entire 200-truck fleet.
Fuel cost is certainly something that drove us towards CNG. We can contract fuel for natural gas powered trucks at a lower rate, and we can also do it for a longer time. Diesel and the price of oil can shoot up and go down overnight. The price of natural gas, and more specifically domestically sourced natural gas and renewable natural gas, stays very consistent.
Another smart move was switching to battery electric power for box trucks and the 17-yard tractors that move trailers around the loading docks day and night. Not only are these right-sized EV machines more maneuverable in confined spaces, but they've cut maintenance costs by 80% compared to diesel and greatly improved the air quality for warehouse workers and drivers alike.
I'm proud to say that we didn't shoehorn EV in where it didn't belong, right? We looked at the application, we looked at trucks like this one here, you know, can an EV box truck do the same thing as a diesel box truck would do? And the answer, you know, was yes for this particular application. Same thing for our yard spotter trucks. Those are the trucks that just move trailers on and off the docks for us every day. They're really just big material handling equipment tractors. That's what they are. And so for those to be electric was kind of a no-brainer.
It's the way that everything is going right now with electric cars, electric trucks. The CNG is for what we do, it's great. As a trucker and guys that have been here 35, 40 years, it was a little bit of a transition, but I think we're all moving into the fact that this is the route that Wegmans has taken, and everybody's on board.
Beyond just making a dollars and cents business case for alternative fuels, that endorsement by the drivers and employees proves the wisdom in Wegmans' decision. And making the switch to natural gas and electric powertrains has allowed the company to better manage their entire transport operation.
You know, for a while, because of the cost of diesel, we actually were using some other companies to help us with our efforts. Now, because our cost per mile has gone down using compressed natural gas trucks, we've been able to get back up to around 21 million miles a year as a fleet.
What an amazing transformation, done by simply choosing the best fuel for the job. And to that we say, keep on clean trucking.
Solid. One of the primary states of matter, and perhaps the best adjective to describe our 2025 Mitsubishi Outlander. That descriptor came directly from the logbook after another 2,000 miles on the clock, now over 22,000 total. To expound upon solid, our staffer also wrote that driving this great cruiser always felt safe and nailed down, with good feedback through the seats and steering, and a compliant ride quality where even big bumps don't upset the Outlander's composure.
If you live in a part of the country where it snows during the wintertime, like it does here in the mid-Atlantic, you know the roads can be a little worse for the wear in early springtime, so we're hitting more potholes than usual in the Outlander. Typically, we would give all the credit to the suspension for absorbing the impact, but I'm gonna give it up for these seats. They really provide premium levels of comfort.
We're at the point where total fuel economy really averages out, though we did see a slight uptick to 26.8 miles per gallon of regular, just above the EPA's combined rating. This Mitsubishi Outlander's time with us will end soon, so we'll enjoy every last bit of it while we can, but not at the expense of our Porsche Cayenne, due up on our next MotorWeek long-term road test update.
Back in the 80s, we had many different choices for sporty cars. So many, in fact, we often bundled them together into big comparison tests, like this battle of import fastbacks we're about to relive once more.
A lot has been written about the Porsche 944 Turbo with its $29,800 base price. We think it's the best all-round sports car on the road today. The sleeper in our group might be the least known, this Mitsubishi Starion ESIR. At $17,479, it's also the cheapest. Next in this group of bulging fenders is the newest entrant, the $20,195 Mazda RX-7 Turbo. With two more cylinders is the pride of Nissan, the $20,999 300ZX Turbo. It's more of a touring car than the others. First, the Porsche. And as a Porsche, it begs to be driven at its edge. The car is more forgiving than other Porsches. It warns you at its peak by feeling heavy, slower to respond. Power comes on in a rush, and that can be alarming in a turn, but braking is flawless with no fade. Overall, the 944 Turbo has to be driven a good deal before you feel fully comfortable. Next, the Starion ESIR, our favorite for pure toss-around fun. It has an amazing ability to recover from most driver mistakes with a simple push of the throttle. The rear-only anti-lock brakes do take some getting used to, though. The Starion ESI-R is very forgiving and clearly shows an intense development effort to make this a quick-responding road car. The Mazda RX-7 Turbo shows many of the same characteristics of the Starion, but with much more finesse. There's a quicker reservoir of power with the turbo rotary. It's nimble all right, but the car does seem a little too light at speed, but brakes are very good. You might think the Nissan 300ZX Turbo wouldn't fare as well as the others here, and that's true enough, but it didn't embarrass itself. Its adjustable suspension makes the car feel stiffer than it is, and you can overdrive it easily. Get that quirk under your belt, and the faster steering and ample power take over. But ZX brakes also faded the most. But can you come close to the Porsche 944 Turbo for around $20,000? For everyday driving, yes, reasonably close. But when it comes to full tilt performance, 30 Gs isn't that far out of step for a terrific sports car like the 944 Turbo. And remember, Buck Watchers, there's always next year.
We've got just enough time to check in with Stephanie Hart for this week's Motor News.
Spring is officially here, which means another New York International Auto Show. Some of the biggest moments of 2026 happened before the doors even opened. Like the reveal of the new Infiniti QX60. Its fastback design looks cool, and as you can see, it was inspired by the QX60. While there's no third row, there is plenty of luxury and tech inside. All trims are powered by a 268 horsepower Turbo 4. And Subaru invited us to California to check out two models. The Forester Wilderness Hybrid is the gas-electric version of the more rugged trail-tackling Forester, said to be at least 25% more fuel efficient. The Subaru Getaway is their next all-electric model with a max range of over 300 miles. This three-row utility will be Subaru's largest EV when it arrives later this year. New York also saw the debut of another three-row utility, the second-generation Volkswagen Atlas. To be made in Tennessee, the new Atlas is largely defined by additional lighting elements like the bars spanning the front end. The cabin is premium, yet straightforward. Its Turbo 4 now produces 282 horsepower. Meanwhile, Kia presented the new Seltos and EV3 to the American market. The Seltos is only slightly larger, resulting in more interior volume. Styling is very on par with recent design language, and it will be offered with multiple powertrain options. The EV3 will be their smallest electric yet, still built on their eGMP platform. It will offer two battery options and either front or all-wheel drive, capable of 320 miles at best. And Nissan brought out the refreshed Z Sport Coupe. Small tweaks to the front with chassis refinements here, while the Nismo upgrade finally provides a manual transmission option. For more coverage, check out the This Just In section on our website. And that's it for this week's Motor News.
If you're shuttling a family around, chances are you're already piloting an SUV. But if your brood is growing fast and you need 3 rows with top-notch reliability, you might consider piloting an actual Pilot, the Honda Pilot, that is. This family taxi has taken off since its 2003 debut, and Honda hopes updates for 26 will lift it even further.
This 4th-gen Pilot arrived in 2023, getting more rugged with the Trail Sport while piling on luxury with the Black Edition. 2026 sees the arrival of a host of updates for all Pilots, touching just about every aspect of the vehicle.
Honda considers this Pilot to be both rugged and family-friendly. And since a lot of people say the same exact thing about me, it'll be my pleasure to take you on this journey through the updated Pilot. 2023 saw a major departure in exterior design, so most of that remains the same this time around. The big changes are here up front, where the bumper is replaced by a giant faux skid plate looking thing, and the grille is now even bigger.
The rear bumper gets a similar treatment, and for 26, the power liftgate and roof rails are now standard on all Pilots. There are also some new color choices. This Sonic Gray Pearl, not one of them, but it does show off the Elite's new 20-inch machine finish alloy wheels.
With our vehicles becoming tech devices as much as transportation these days, Honda has focused most of their updates there. The dash-top touchscreen is 3 inches bigger at 12.3, and the 10.2-inch driver info display is now standard after being optional before.
You've got Google built in, a 5G Wi-Fi hotspot, and wireless connectivity for both Apple and Android now included with all trims. This Elite gets some ultra suede materials in the seats, along with a new diamond stitch pattern. Comfort in those seats remains quite good. And Honda has always been great about integrating lots of storage places for small items.
While not as easy to get into and out of as a minivan, there's still plenty of space here in the second row for children and adults. And for access to the third row, just takes one press of a button. Now I can fit in this seat, I just wouldn't want to spend a ton of time back here. And behind me with this third row up, there's 18.6 cubic feet of space. Well said. Thanks, man.
Folding the third row is so simple, it takes only one of me to do it. Just pull the strap and push it down. The second row is just as easy with the pull of this lever on the seat bottom, and doing so will increase the space to 48.5 and 87 cubic feet.
One cool feature with the Pilot is you no longer have to decide if you want captain's chairs or a 3-place bench when you buy it, because this section comes out, you take it to the back, then you store it in its own purpose-built cubby.
Throw in some more active safety features for 26, and you can see that a lot has changed. But even more importantly, they've addressed some driving aspects too.
Yeah, so for this update, Honda's found other ways to improve the driving experience. For example, they've added more sound deadening materials, and they've even added semi-tempered glass to the side windows here, which quiets things down here in the cabin. More significantly, they've actually retuned the power steering as well, which is good for a more solid on-center feel. What hasn't changed is the powertrain, as this Pilot, like all Pilots, is still rocking a naturally aspirated 3.5-liter V6, same as they have since day one. Its current rating of 285 horsepower and 262 pound-feet of torque has been in effect since 2023. Of the 6 trims available, only 2 come as front-wheel drive. The rest, including this Elite, come with Honda's iVTM4 all-wheel drive. All Pilots work with a 10-speed automatic transmission. What we have here is more than enough to get you up to cruising speed and make sure all your passengers make it to their gate on time. That includes runs at our test track, where the Pilot ramped up to 60 in 7.3 seconds, and through the quarter mile in 15.6 seconds at 90 miles per hour. Okay, yeah, so this Pilot doesn't exactly get catapulted off the flight deck, but even as I'm gaining speed, power stays consistent, which is great for, say, merging onto a busy highway. This all-wheel drive system can send up to 70% of the goods to the rear wheels. Most of the time it's shuffling side to side to prevent understeer. As you can imagine, there's a lot of body roll here, which means I'm shuffling side to side too. Even with a pedal travel that's soft at the top and ABS pulsing at the bottom, braking performance is good, with no side-to-side stepping and stops coming in at an average of 114 feet.
Government fuel economy ratings for the Honda Pilot Elite are 19 city, 25 highway, and 21 combined. We averaged 21.8 miles per gallon of regular. Pricing starts reasonably at $43,690 for Sport trim. Elite goes for $54,990, with Top Black Edition coming in at $56,490. The 2026 Honda Pilot is not that different than before, but the updates made were well chosen and nicely executed. That's the kind of thing Honda does on a regular basis, and why their customers keep coming back for more.
Well, that's our show. I hope you enjoyed it. Now, for more MotorWeek, including daily news updates, podcasts, and even complete episodes, cruise on over to pbs.org/MotorWeek. And I hope you'll join us next time for an electric-backed Boxer, the Subaru Crosstrek Hybrid. And we'll test a fresh breeze with the Mazda CX-30 Air Edition. Next, a pop by the garage for a quick turn with sockets and ratchets. Then back on the road for more quick spins. Till next time, I'm John Davis. We'll see you right here on MotorWeek.
To learn more about MotorWeek, television's original automotive magazine, visit pbs.org/MotorWeek.
The MotorWeek app, which includes our latest reviews and feature stories, is now available for mobile devices.
MotorWeek is proudly sponsored by Auto Value and Bumper to Bumper, a nationwide network of stores and shops providing major brand auto and truck parts and service from coast to coast and in your local community. Service is the difference. We get it. Learn more at autovalue.com and bumpertobumper.com.
We're Tire Rack. We test tires and share our results. We stock over 1 million tires. We offer multiple installation options. We do this because we believe tires matter. TireRack.com.
This program was produced by Maryland Public Television, which is solely responsible for its content.